The show is finally coming to an end. Now, I know there was a two-part finale. We're going to go over part one tonight as a family. Okay. Now, if you're new here, I'm Denise Brady. Your girl got her hair done. Okay. Okay. So just put some likes, some hearts in the chat, just off the GP of, I got my hair done. Okay. But, the season is coming to an end. And has there been any resolve? Okay. Has there been resolve? Was it necessary? Now, in the first part of the finale, make sure y'all hit that like, y'all subscribe, y'all do all the do's to support this channel. Hype me up, hype me up, hype me up, hype me up. Okay. Because this don't mean the recaps, the deep dives are at an end. Okay, I still got some stuff in the bank, okay, that I want to talk about. Because a lot of you guys are learning from these videos. But we're getting ready for Tawanda's wedding. Okay. And this season to me, who kept the lights on? Okay, as much as y'all don't want to admit, Tamar kept the lights on. And we're hearing her talk about preparing for her album. Okay, getting ready for that. And the thing I love about Tamar is that she's raw and authentic. Maybe not all the time, but she's learning to be. Okay. I think she's learning to step into who she is and not who the world and maybe her family has wanted her to be. And though she is working on herself and she's not her complete healed self, you have to recognize that healing is messy. Okay. It's not concrete, it goes all over the place. And until you can turn the mirror on yourself and admit that you're part of the problem, you're not going to heal. And I think this season, to me, it felt like Tamar turned the mirror on herself and recognized I am part of the problem. Even if nobody else in my family is willing to turn the mirror on themselves, I'm going to do it for myself. And that to me is a cycle breaker. But you guys are all about it, it's so black and white. Either you're all in with Tamar or you're not. But there's so much gray and nuance to healing, sisterhood, relationships. But people are not ready to talk about that. Okay. And so we see her preparing for her album release, and I'm surprised she doesn't have a Grammy. Her music is timeless, her voice is good. So why do y'all think she doesn't have a Grammy? But then there's a lot of politics and respectability about buying Grammys and kissing the ring. So maybe that's part of it too. Okay. We get a lot of flashbacks about um Sean and Towanda. Towanda can't carry a show. I've said that I would never watch a show, a spinoff of just her and Sean. If that's what y'all trying to do, stop. Stop right now. Because I ain't watching it. Okay. I'm not watching it. All right. And as we're getting closer and closer to the wedding, we see the rehearsal dinner, which I thought would be somewhere else. Was that not in the Wheat TV budget? It looked like a Maggiano's or a Stonefire Grill type thing. I thought it was gonna be a little bit better than that. Okay. Especially to be an ATL. It wasn't no restaurants or locations y'all can call ahead and you make it private. Y'all got connections like that. Okay. Because it was definitely giving Stonefire Grill, Maggiano's. Okay. For this to be a TV show. But we're seeing them lead up to the wedding, and some of the highlights for me were them talking about her son. Where was he? He's in the Navy. Some people, along with that blogger over there that some people don't want to name, is saying that he's had some extracurricular activities. Y'all reporting that he was discharged. I don't know about them things. I really don't. Okay, if that's the case, it's truly sad. It sounds like to Towanda, he's always wanted to go to the Navy and be a Navy SEAL, which is very elite. Okay, which is very elite. And now who else is missing from the wedding? Oh, Kevin Jr. Okay, Kevin Jr. is missing. I watched his interview, not his interview, but his conversation with his father about legacy, why he wasn't there. And let's get into that. Okay, let's get into them talking. Now, it's quite interesting that the relationship that they have one another is not the greatest, which also shows you the dynamics of a father and son being torn apart by money, legacy, and trauma. Okay. Though I think they're trying to come back together, they're having this conversation. Um, and the father is holding back, I could tell. What's his name? Kevin Surratt? I could Surratt? I could tell he's holding back out of respect for, I think, Traci at times, but he wants Kevin to be a man and be honest and be real. And I think he sees his son protecting Towanda, protecting the sisterhood when they don't protect him. But as a parent, you can know all these things, but sometimes we're like, you got to figure it out for yourself. Like I could tell you, I could show you, but you don't want to listen to me, so you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. So it comes up in the interview, um, why weren't you at the wedding? And he gives some kind of story about, let me see if I can find it on the TikToks. He gives some kind of story about he couldn't find his license. Okay. He said he didn't go because he didn't have his license. And so he told production when they were calling him, asking him, was he gonna go? Um, he's like, I ain't got my license. And I thought about having a friend come and like drive me to the wedding. And the daddy is kind of looking at him like, you gonna tell the truth or what? Man up and tell the truth. And it was after that part, I can't find it's probably on YouTube. I'm not trying to get no copyright strike. It comes up, he's like, okay, you know what? Fine. This girl I've been messing with, we've been dating, and she was pregnant at the time. She had a miscarriage. Okay, she had a miscarriage. And at that time, I had to make a decision. Was I going to leave her by herself and go to Towanda's wedding? Or was I going to stick beside her and help her through this experience? And he chose to stay by the woman's side and help her through this experience, and him also going through a miscarriage and losing a child. And I just wonder after when I was watching, like, why does he continue to try and protect? I don't know if it's them. I don't know if he's running from the truth. It's just the energy between them is just very interesting, the father and the son. And um, I'm like, why do you just say that? I think a part of it was like maybe he was trying to have respect for the girl and not put her business out there. But to say that you misplaced your license, I think there would have been alternative ways you could get to the wedding. Okay. But in the interview, he talked about that. He also came at the people in the chat. He came at Sherelle's world. Okay. And addressed some of the things about people who talk about her legacy and how about the money. And even the father was like, in the beginning, I was upset about your mother putting you in charge of, the will and her brand and her naming. But over time, I came to terms with it. And I think that along with some of the stuff between the sisters, the passing, the money, really tore their relationship apart. Do I think it's 100% a healthy place? I don't. It sounds like they talk here and there, but they don't have the best relationship. But Kevin Jr. seems very upset about people making comments and saying that he's on different substances. And he talks about grief and depression in this interview. The grief and depression that he has gone through and that he's still going through, and that it's been, I think he said, it has been 3 years, y'all, going on 2.5, going on 3 years since his mother passed, and that they're still dealing with that. Okay. I think we see grief in some ways on the show with the sisters, but not, I think, authentically. And I think the first season of this show really felt like they were talking about grief in a way to make money and not so much authentically about grieving a sister. And I wish we spoke more about that. I do remember they were meeting with Dr. Spirit and working through it, but it felt disjointed because of reality show. That's why it feels disjointed. That's why it doesn't feel real. But it was good to see. I accepted the whole thing. It was good to watch the father and son dynamic and just see how trauma, resentment, ego has torn these two men apart. And that they're trying to come together. And I feel like Kevin Sr., he knows so many secrets. He knows where the bodies are. He knows a lot of things. But I think out of respect for his son, out of respect for Traci, he has not brought up and said a lot of things. But it was good to see him reflect back of like, yeah, I messed up. I really did have a grudge and didn't understand why she left you in charge of everything instead of her own husband. And I wonder about the relationship, the ins, the outs, that the man that you've been standing by for so long. Something in you said, "Don't leave him in charge of everything." Also, is something to think about. But he wasn't at the wedding because of the miscarriage. I do think he has a lot going on there that's not uh helping him. At times, he looks a little lost. And I think he needs that strong foundation of having a man in his life. And because him and his father do not get along, I just think that, his mom was very much his backbone and he's trying to figure it out. And sometimes he's figuring out in ways where he's falling. Okay. But sometimes you got to fall and learn how to get back up on your own, learn how to reach out for help. But that's why he was not there. So y'all should watch the interview yourselves. Okay. Now, during the wedding, also, we see Trina crying. And what I tell y'all? It was gonna be something. Sorry, we saw Towanda crying. And I told y'all it was gonna be something related to Traci. Because we need our Traci moment. We need our Traci moment. We see the hummingbirds and all these things related to Traci. And I'm like, why is it so easy for y'all to have her be here in presence, the hummingbirds throughout these seasons? But I watched this and I'm like, where was the energy when she was alive? Where was the respect? Where was the sisterhood? And there's so much focus on legacy talk when it comes to Traci, from her son, from her husband, from her sisters. What does it mean though? And what does it look like? I would love to hear from somebody who was really there with Traci when she was going through her illness, a confidant, somebody who really knew her and knew her wishes. Because if I were getting different versions of what other people think her wishes were. I don't even think that this show was part of her legacy or her wishes. And I hope people have conversations with loved ones about legacy. What happens to me once I'm no longer here? What is my legacy? What does my memory look like? And I know those are hard conversations, but I think that they make a difference. We also saw a rare appearance from Daddy, and of course, Mama Evelyn had to make some comment saying, "Y'all wonder why the sisters are 15 months apart because their daddy was greedy." Because Daddy was greedy. She ain't never gonna let that man have no peace. And why say that at your daughter's day at the rehearsal dinner? Why say that? Okay, you can't keep it cute. You can't keep it cute. Leave your bitterness, leave your feelings at the door. Oh no. I could not, because some of y'all saying she a narcissist and the daughters are her flying monkeys. Okay. But you had to bring it back to something about Daddy being negative. And now they didn't show his reaction to that, so I'm not sure. I'm guessing he was somewhere around. I'm not sure. Okay. And so we also get, I clocked it, y'all. Tamar talking about wanting to do a sister retreat. I be knowing some shit, okay? I be knowing some shit. Your girl got a third eye right here. Okay, that's why y'all be staying, because I be talking about some shit on these shows, and then when it happened, like, oh, you clocked it 3 episodes ago. So we get Tamar talking about wanting to have a retreat with her sisters, with her coach. And once again, they didn't put her information up there, even though I've seen her on, I think she was also on Tia's show. Okay, is that coming back, y'all? She was also on Tia's show. I think that show is gonna come back because I saw it, the sisters reconciled. Okay, but that's probably it's gonna be in the spring. Okay. But I've seen this same woman on multiple seasons of the Braxtons. I've seen her do some stuff with was it, I think it was Tia's show. But they once again don't give no little blurb about her. Okay. So she wants to have a sister retreat. She wants to have a sister retreat. And of course, Tawanda's like, I'm not in it. Don't invite me. Okay. And it's interesting because Toni says at the wedding, she called Tamar and she's like, Tamar, are you coming? Tamar's like, I was not invited. And Toni brings up the thing about egos. Oh, I think she said pride. I think she said, well, life is too short for pride to get in the way. Are you telling that to Towanda? Are you telling that to Towanda? Okay. So of course Tamar was not there. She was not invited. All right. So we get to, her talking about the retreat. And this is what I like about Tamar and her being on her healing journey. It's raw, it's messy, it goes up and down. Healing is not linear. And so she talks about this retreat, and Tamar wants resolve. And I think production asked her during her confessional, do you have anything that you want to apologize for? And she actually says yes. I'm like, oh, you are on your healing journey. You recognize your patterns, you recognize how you have engaged in some of these things. And are you perfect? No, healing is not perfect. You're going to make some mistakes while you're healing. Learn that, accept that. You're going to fall forward. Okay. You're going to fail. You're going to want to give up, but you're human, and allow yourself to be human. Y'all forget that y'all are human. Okay. Be vulnerable. And being vulnerable means accepting and admitting I'm part of the problem. And she says, I want to apologize for the actions at the table. I take full responsibility. I take full responsibility. And to me, the apology felt very authentic, very real. Not just like, yeah, I'm sorry. Let's talk about something else. But she was actually sorry. It takes a lot to admit when you're wrong. It does. Because it means I'm not perfect. So ask yourself, when's the last time you were able to authentically look at yourself and turn the mirror on yourself and admit I was wrong? And apologize and mean it. Not apologize to cater to, not apologize because I'm uncomfortable, not apologize because I want some spicy time, not apologize because I just want this to go away, but apologize because I mean it. And I think apologies should come with actions. Apology, you can say you're sorry, but what are the actions? And that's the hard part. Anybody can apologize, but what's your change behavior? Are we going to see a change in behavior? And that's the hard part in this, because I think people are like, well, she apologized, but her behaviors haven't changed. A lot of Tamar's reactions are a reactionary response to trauma and being triggered. A lot of y'all are different pieces and parts of these sisters, but you're so quick to judge and point the finger and not really be ready to recognize I'm a Tamar, I'm a Trina. I might have parts of Towanda in me. I might be Miss E, but I'm not ready to admit that I've had some of these same behaviors and said some of these same things because it's too rough. It's too hard for me to sit with myself. So I rather project, avoid, mask than to sit with myself because I don't have to deal with myself. Okay, so he takes full responsibility. And during the wedding, we also see Trina disappeared because Vaughn is having some heart palpitations. And it's interesting that whole thing. One, they really thought that Towanda wasn't going to notice. Okay. Two, I see Toni being the peacemaker, trying to be the one, make sure everything's okay, make sure she don't notice. It's like, there go Toni being that same one, the same role. And there's a part of me that's like, did Towanda really not know? Okay. Did she really not know? This is a production scene. This is a scene. Even though it's a wedding, it's a scene. You got to put your mic on, take your mic off. I don't know. Maybe she was so tied up in Sean. It's Sean. It's my first dance. And it's Sean. It's Sean. It's Sean. It's Sean. And maybe she didn't notice. Okay, I could be wrong. All right. But I still need to watch part 2. I need to watch the second episode. But I see potential. I see the potential, but once again, there's no investment in healing. Is there money to be made off healing? No. So why invest in it? When the trauma, the resentment, all of that is making everybody money. To be honest with you, front of the camera, back of the camera. And one thing about resolve, y'all have to learn to get resolve on your own and not have to be attached to something or somebody. Your healing cannot be attached to somebody. I'm gonna start healing when my mama get together. I'm gonna start healing once my mama find a therapist. I'm gonna start healing once my sister pick up the phone and call me. That's when we can start working on our relationships. And when she pick up the phone first, let it go. Let that shit go. Want to find resolve in yourself. Want to turn that mirror on yourself. Get uncomfortable. Be okay with being uncomfortable sitting with yourself and doing the work of, I'm going to sit here. I'm not going to have my phone in my hand, no TV, no man's in my bed distracting me. I'm not going to be up under nobody, on top of nobody. It's the end of the year, y'all. It's still some time to think about locking in on yourself. Locking in on yourself and how you want to show up better for you. And let that resolve come from the inside. Now I'm over here preaching. So I'm gonna need y'all to put some money in that collection plate with them super chats and them likes. But you can't heal if your healing is attached to somebody else. Your healing is attached to a get back, catching a lick, getting back at somebody. It has to be about you. And you got to be okay with taking the mask off, peeling back the skin, baby, and getting to the white meat. Okay? Get to the white meat. Once you get to the white meat and you really raw, you can really start healing. But if you continue to do the same thing you've been doing, you're not going to get nowhere. Find resolve in yourself. And I think Tamar needs to find resolve in herself. Because at the end of the day, Towanda's never going to come around. Towanda's at a point in her life where she does not want this. She does not want you. And Tamar continues to have her healing at times be attached to acceptance. One to be seen by my family, one to be heard. And it's not going to happen. Accept that. And that hurts. That hurts. To know that the thing you really want is never going to happen. But once you can accept that and let that go, you will feel the weight off your shoulders, that stress in your back and your gut, the issues you've been having in your gut. You will really start to see a difference. Okay. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all just got some free therapy. So y'all better be hitting that chat. liking the video, sharing the video. They just got some free game. But I'm Denise Braid. This was the episode. It was once again heavily related to Towanda. I'm looking forward to watching the retreat and breaking it down from a therapist perspective. Hit that like. Let me know your thoughts. Is your healing attached to other people, places, or things? What does resolve look like in your life? And what does legacy look like in your afterlife when you are no longer here? Okay? Make sure you hit that like, you subscribe, you do all the things to support this channel. And now, if you got any more ideas about different things you want to hear me talk about the Braxton family related to trauma, healing, family dynamics, let me know in the chat. You know I'll be listening. I'll be in there with y'all. And I'll be giving y'all videos. Y'all want that Michael Braxton video, and I gave it to y'all. Okay. Now I'll see you in the next one, girlies. Okay. Bye. See ya. Hit the like. Have you hit the like yet? Have you joined the membership? It's only $1 now. Okay. Do all those things. Okay. Like this video. Like it. Hit the